So far, we've done the Ionian, Mixolydian, and Aeolian modes. Let's see what we're pulling out here for the fourth video. And the autumn of modes is Locrian, one of the craziest ones. The diminished key, the seventh of all, or the last of all the modes at 7. And we're going to do that in, that is a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So D Locrian is going to be D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C flat, and D. That seems right. Yep. Whew. I had to think about that because I'm not used to playing it on the keys. I'm not sure I've played it in D Locrian very often, but the Locrian mode, when used correctly, has like full diminished sevenths. I made a whole video about it before. I'll put a card up here and a link in the description. But you can do a lot of really cool stuff in it. Let's dive deep because this one changed my playing for sure. So this one's going to be a little bit weird because the Locrian is the last mode. It is the 7th of the 7 modes. And other modes, like the 1, the 4, and the 5, are based on a major chord. And then the 2, the 3, and the 6 are based on minor chord. Traditionally, people describe major chords as happy, and minor chords as sad. And Locrian is based on neither of those. It's based on the diminished chord, which I've heard and seen described as anguished. And I guess that's kind of true if you're listening to the chord itself, but add some rhythm to it, make some riffs with it, and you can really come up with something kind of bouncy and energetic and kind of goofball-y. It doesn't necessarily sound like worse than sad, like both sad and pained as anguished implies. But let's take a look at finding our 3 shapes, our vertical, our horizontal, and our 3 notes per string for the key that was used in the intro, which was D Locrian. Oh, this is the vertical shape. So in all my videos, I do these 3 shapes. Vertical is moving up and down the strings, horizontal staying on a single string and applying the intervals. So we'll find a D, we'll start with this one here on the 3rd fret of the B, and apply the intervals as are on the screen. And then 3 notes per string would look like this. And that's our 3. I really kind of call that last one 3.5 because you get 3 notes per string ascending and 3 notes per string descending. So you get 4 notes per string. It's kind of 3.5 shapes that I always go over. But that's them in their diatonic form. A lot of people, when they're looking to use the Locrian, are really thinking or are reaching for the full diminished 7th, which we'll get to at the end of the video. But let's reapply this with the regular diatonic in A for another jam before we come back and take a look at the extension. So I'm going to find A on the low E and apply our shapes. So our vertical, our horizontal, and our 3 notes per string. Oops. And you'll see here I'm going to use some droning A string to kind of hold everything together. I find that often helps with Locrian stuff because it doesn't resolve. Having a droning note or something like that in there can really help tie the whole thing together. But let's apply this, the diatonic version of the Locrian, in a little jam that we'll come back and take a look at true diminished sevenths and the mood that allows, which is really cool. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see it and try it. So as you heard in the opening jam and that last one, Locrian has a very unique mood that it creates, and it's a totally valid, awesome way to use it. But one of the things that's special about the Locrian mode is that it can be you can substitute a diminished seventh, a full diminished seventh chord for it, and it sounds really, really cool. So I made an entire video about diminished sevenths and why they rule. I'm going to put a card up here and a link in the description. That's got a much deeper dive into this. It's 20 whole minutes on why diminished sevenths are awesome. But the gist of it is, if we were to stay diatonic or within the notes of the key and try to play a seventh chord of our diminished chord, this next jam is going to be in F sharp, so let's move to F sharp. Let's find this F sharp here and just at least find one of our shapes, vertical shape. And if I was to play an F sharp diminished with those notes, I'm going to play an octave higher. And the seventh of that would be this E here. And a lot of people might know that chord as half diminished or minor 7 flat 5, which is staying inside of the diatonic. This is the alteration. I swear I'm getting to a point here. If you make the 7th flat, so we're just going to move that back a half step, you end up with this fingering. And this is your full diminished 7th chord. Again, for a deep dive into this, check out that other video. But the gist of it is, I can move this 3 frets in any direction, same fingering, and it's just an inversion of that chord. Similarly, if I put the root on the D string, those are all the same. Now, that's great, sure, I got a lot of inversions of the chord, I don't need to change my finger, I need to move it around, but it also comes with this great fretboard pattern. I'll start with this F sharp up here. This box right here is great to begin with, but we can extend it down. It's one of my favorite ways to play it. Let's move that down 3 frets. So not only can you move the chords back and forth, you can move this arpeggio back and forth, and it comes with this other great shape. I'll start low. Here, see how that's just a minor third, moving up and back 1 fret. And guess what? Now I'm in this box. Oops. I played a diatonic 7th when I should have played the diminished 7th. That's why that sounded weird. But this unlocks a lot of possibilities. So check out that other video for a deep dive into it. But let's hear this in action and come back and wrap this whole thing up. So Locrian, it's a weird one, but it's super fun. And once you wrap your brain and your hands around it, it's a mood that nothing else offers. So I hope you learned something and had some fun here. I'm right in the middle of the Autumn of Modes, actually, where I'm posting a video like this every Tuesday. I'm going through each of the modes, then I'm going to talk about modal interchange and borrowed chords and, well, whatever. You'll see that in a couple months, but make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. Also, I post a video like this every Tuesday, like I said, and on every Friday, I do a shorter video called Fretboard Fridays. There's a link in the description to sign up on my email list, which will get you immediate access to the Guitar Chord Survival Kit. And, give Locrian a shot a little bit more often than you normally would. It can only be healthy. I promise it'll be some fun. See you around. Cheers.